Hey there, something like that. I thank you. Yes, you. For, well, click on this video. It's not all the time that people give God a chance. And I know this video may have started off not as most people have seen my other videos start off, but the thing is that we must be thankful for these times that people just give God a chance, because it's not all the time that we're gonna be invited by God. It's not all the time that we're gonna have the chance to accept God's invitation, right? And the thing is at the right time, at the right moment, when we start to follow God and we consistently do what God wants us to do, and we do not give up, we'll be rewarded. And how can I prove that? Well, I can't really prove that, but I can tell you what God says about it, or rather, what God preaches through Paul. And it's in Galatians 6:9, or chapter 6, verse 9, where it says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." And Paul here is saying that to the Galatians, right, that me and you, should not want to stop doing what is good. And what is good is, well, what God wants us to do. No, I think me and you understand that, right? And if you know, well, now now you know. And the thing is, like, if God just wants the best for us, or if He is the good, if He promises us only good within the next life, then we shall do what He says is good for. If we do and constantly rely on His good and constantly go to His good, as long as we stay faithful, as long as we constantly do good and seek to do good, we shall be rewarded. We shall reap a harvest. But first, of course, what does that mean? What does it mean to reap a harvest? And to reap a harvest is, well, you put it in worldly terms, when you work hard on a farm, when you work hard to grow those crops, when you consistently water the crops, give them fertilizer for them to grow properly, even the necessary things, so that they may grow, into plentiful crop, then you'll be rewarded with that crop. You'll be able to reap of the harvest that you created. And the thing is that the same goes for us with God, is that when we water that seed within us, we fertilize that seed within us, we start to grow plentiful crop, and that crop is all that God wants for us, right? God wants us to stay faithful. God wants us to be loving, to be kind, to be joyful, to be humble, to be patient. God wants us to be faithful. God wants us to be faithful, so that at the end we will reap of a harvest for all the good that we have done. And I'm not talking about good deeds. I'm not talking about you helping out an old woman across the side of the street, even though you will be or judge on that too. What I'm saying is the good that God set you out to do, that God assigned you. So whatever it is that God wants you to go through, whatever test God needs you to go through, whatever God is telling you to do not give up. For at the right time we will reap of a harvest. And not only at the end of the age, but also now, that in our life we will reap of a harvest, that we will be filled with immense amounts of love and joy and faith, so long as we stay faithful. Because if we don't stay faithful, it's like if you suddenly miss a day of watering your crop, maybe if you miss a day of putting some fertilizer or watering the crops that day, what happened? Maybe not all of them, or maybe none at all, will grow into plentiful crop. And that's the thing, man, is that me and you, and maybe you, right on the other side of the screen, are dealing with something similar to this, to where you're wondering why is it that even though I'm staying faithful, I continue to feel burdened, I continue to feel tired, I continue to feel exhausted. Man, I'm just telling you is that you're getting close. You're getting closer and closer and closer each day. But God just needs you. God needs you to stay faithful. Does he, as he preaches to Paul. And when Paul says that at some point, so long as we stay faithful, we will be able to be rewarded. And honestly, I myself, I would love that, to be rewarded by God. Once in a blue moon, huh? But the reality is that we shouldn't want to give up on God. If God promises so much, why not just have faith in it? I know it's not easy. It's not easy to have faith in God, even in the troubling times, right? But there's an example, actually, through one of the Gospels. I believe it's in Luke, but it's where Jesus, meets this Canaanite woman, right? And this woman goes up to her, or not to her, sorry, goes up to Jesus, and she says that, like, her daughter's dying, right? Or her daughter is, like, about to, like, not be on this planet anymore, and so she begs and begs Jesus. But Jesus then tells her to, like, first give her some food to check that if she's, like, actually dead or not, so, sort of like, God, well, it may seem like God's trying to, or Jesus is, like, joking around, but then the woman says that, like, that even the dogs will eat the crumbs, sort of saying that like, has it, is that this woman, even though, right, it may seem like Jesus is joking around with her and doesn't see the magnitude of the situation, we, just like that woman, are to do exactly what that woman did. And what she did, she kept on having faith. She wasn't having faith. She still asked you. She didn't become discouraged, actually. She just played along with it, actually. She said, oh, even the dogs will eat the crumbs off the ground. Sort of saying that she isn't discouraged from God's testing. She isn't discouraged when Jesus tested her, and anyways, what I'm saying, right? And I know this might be a long video for some you, but I really pray that you just stay a little more, because here's the thing, is that a lot of us may be in this situation, just like the Canaanite woman, where we are feeling like no matter how much we beg God, it seems like God doesn't understand. It feels like God doesn't see our situation, doesn't see our suffering, doesn't see in the terrible place we're in, but instead God does see it, and God is just testing you. Because when Jesus tested that woman, Jesus tested that woman's faith, and that woman's faith was consistent, and that's what we are to do. Just how Paul says that we should not stop doing good. We should not stop doing what the Father wants us to do, and we shouldn't stop doing the Father's will. And instead, continue and continue. Do not give up, for at some point we will be rewarded, just like how that Canaanite woman, just like how her daughter was healed after. We too, me and you, are to stay faithful. So if you are struggling in a situation where you feel like giving up, you feel like dropping the ball. You feel like God isn't seeing your suffering and He doesn't care. It's almost like as if God's oblivious to it. But no, instead God is testing you, and God just needs you to go that one extra step. Maybe it's that one. Maybe it's just to the end of this day. Maybe it's after tomorrow. Maybe it's after the next week. Whatever it is, man, just hold strong. Just hold on to God. Seek God in these tough times. Be faithful. Alright? And that's all I pray for you, man. God bless.